Right, so we're going to dive into Siu Nim Tao. We're all going to do Siu Nim Tao together, and there's many ways to practice the same exact form. For example, Siu Nim Tao, you can practice it just to learn the movements. You could practice it beyond just learning the movements and what order they're in and getting them in the correct order. You can also practice Siu Nim Tao for Qigong as well. You can practice Siu Nim Tao with a purposeful practice to develop your ligaments and tendons and fascia and have that really developed for elasticity. That's very important. You can also focus on doing Siu Nim Tao for the focus of finding center out away from your body, focusing on pinpointing center with every single motion out in front of you. Not, for example, a Tan Sao, instead of it being over here or over here, you'll have it right in the dead center. So you're finding center out away from your body. So there's a lot of different ways to do the form, not doing the form with different movements, but it is doing the form with a different developmental focus. So all these areas I just mentioned, you can do Siu Nim Tao, same exact motions, you would just have a different developmental focus for each one. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is just simply doing the Siu Nim Tao form with the developmental focus being that of finding the center out away from the self. So these empty hand forms are from the self to the self. So you want to find the center inside of yourself and get yourself centered during the practice of Siu Nim Tao. So your mind becomes centered. You also have a focus on where your core center, your center line is, your core axis. You start to find and get a sense of where that is. But then also becoming centered means finding the center out in front of you with your hand positions, and everything that you do moving forward goes towards that center out in front of you. So we're going to practice the Siu Nim Tao form with that focus. Okay, I'm not going to focus on everything at once. I'm not going to inject a different focus and then this focus. Instead, we're going to have a singular focus, and that is becoming centered to the self and becoming centered out in front of the self. Okay, so when you do this, think about every time you put a hand forward, whether it's a punch, whether it's a Tan Sao, Man Fuk, whatever, you're going to find that center point. When I'm going to find it, when I get in Yichi Kimi Ma stance, I'm going to put my arms out, and you can do the same thing and find that center point out here. And then focus on that center point with every motion you do going in and out, okay? So that's what we're going to work on right now. So let's get in our Yichi Kimi Ma stance. To do so, put your feet together. The head top goes up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders down, relax the arms, and then sit the rear end down, which straightens the lower back. It also bends the knees, and then tucks the pelvis. Bring the elbows back behind you, and the hands are off the chest, but at chest height. Hoi Ma, open the toes, and then open the heels. So your feet are more of a triangular shape, not so much of an equilateral triangle, but triangular shape. Knees are in Kim Sut, and you're in Yichi Kimi Ma stance now. So before we get moving, just take your hands to find that center. Make that triangle out here. Now I know that with one hand, that's the point I'm looking for. It's not over here, it's not over there, it's in the center. Okay? So if that's my center, when I rotate to Tan, I'm going to rotate around my middle finger. In other words, I'm going to rotate the rest of my hand around my middle finger. When I do that, it brings my elbow inward on the Tan Sao. Okay? So everything is out here. If you're in a Fuq Sao, the back of your hand, your carpal bridge, the middle of your carpal bridge, that's what is on the center. Okay? So everything we're focusing on in this particular Siu Nim Tao is focus on getting that center point. Okay? So you find center, make a note, mental note of that, and then we'll begin. Follow me. Alright, very nice. That's your Siu Nim Tao form for finding center out in front. Practice it that way with the mind in your movements, and fully engaged with your mind, moving your body. As your body moves, think about every single moment that body part is moving. Whether it's going out or whether the body part is coming back in, place your mind in your movements. Focus on gaining that point of center. Okay? Very good. We'll stop right there.